Was Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Australia and New Zealand merely about strengthening India's ties with two key Indo-Pacific partners, or was there a larger political story unfolding behind the strategic receptions, thunderous applause and stadium-sized diaspora events? From July 8 to July 11, 2026, Prime Minister Narendra Modi embarked on a high-profile visit to Australia and New Zealand. Officially, the visit focused on deepening strategic partnerships, expanding economic cooperation and reinforcing India's presence in the Indo-Pacific. But beyond the diplomatic agreements and joint statements, two events stole the spotlight. The first was Modi meets Melbourne in Australia. The second was Kia Ora Modi in New Zealand. Both events drew massive crowds from the Indian diaspora. The visuals were striking. Packed arenas, thousands chanting Modi, Modi. Prime Ministers Anthony Albanese and Christopher Luxon sharing the stage with Narendra Modi, holding his hand, applauding his speeches and witnessing first-hand remarkable enthusiasm surrounding the Indian leader. Social media was flooded with clips celebrating the scale of these events. Supporters hailed them as a proof of Modi's global stature and the respect India commands on the global stage. Addressing the diaspora in Melbourne, Modi remarked, "We Indians are like sugar in milk. We make it sweeter. Wherever we go, we spread love and goodwill. The milk in your homes may be Australian, but the tea is Indian." The line drew loud cheers as Anthony Albanese smiled from the stage while the audience erupted into chants of Modi, Modi. A similar spectacle unfolded in Auckland. Modi recalled his first visit to New Zealand long before he entered public office. He proudly displayed a 20-30-year-old scarf gifted to him by a friend during that visit, a scarf he had preserved for decades. As he held it up before the audience, the crowd roared with excitement, while Prime Minister Christopher Luxon looked on, visibly impressed by the emotional connection Modi shared with the Indian community. The question, however, is, why were these events given such extraordinary prominence? Why did the leaders of Australia and New Zealand not only attend these diaspora gatherings but also actively participate in them? The answer may lie not just in diplomacy but in domestic politics. Both Australia and New Zealand are heading into crucial elections later this year. Melbourne, where the Modi Meets Melbourne event was organized, is located in a politically significant state of Victoria, which goes to polls in November. New Zealand too is preparing for its general election around the same time. With the Indian diaspora emerging as an increasingly influential voting bloc in both countries, were these spectacular public events simply celebrations for India? Or were they carefully crafted political moments aimed at winning over one of the fastest growing and most politically active communities in the region? Let's break it down. Let's begin with Australia. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, who stood shoulder to shoulder with Narendra Modi at the Melbourne event, leads the Labour Party at the federal level. In Victoria, where the event was held, the same Labour Party has governed continuously for the past 12 years and is now seeking another term in office. The state is led by Premier Jacinta Allen, who has been in power since 2023 and has also shared the stage with Modi, addressing the packed gathering alongside Albanese. This political backdrop is significant because the Indian origin community has grown into Australia's largest overseas-born migrant group. While not every member of the diaspora is a voter in Victoria, a substantial number are, and in a closely fought election, that voting bloc could prove decisive. Viewed in that context, Modi Meets Melbourne appears to be much more than a cultural celebration or a diplomatic outreach. It looked like a carefully choreographed political event, one that offered Victoria's ruling Labour Party a rare opportunity to connect with, energize and potentially win over an increasingly influential Indian diaspora ahead of the state elections. Let's now get to New Zealand. The country goes to polls on 7th November 2026. Unlike India, where general elections are held every 5 years, New Zealand votes every 3 years, making electoral cycles shorter and political calculations even more immediate. Prime Minister Christopher Luxon, leader of the centre-right New Zealand National Party, came to power after leading his party to victory in the 2023 general election. He currently heads a coalition government with the ACT party and New Zealand First. Then comes another crucial political factor, the Indian diaspora. According to New Zealand's 2023 census, nearly 290,000 people identified themselves as being of Indian ethnicity in a country with a population of just under 5 million. While there is no official data on how many of them are registered voters, it is evident that Indian community represents a sizable and increasingly influential electoral constituency. In a country where elections are often decided by relatively small margins, a voting bloc of this scale can carry significant political weight. Seen through that lens, the Kia Ora Modi event was not merely a celebration of India's Prime Minister. It also offers New Zealand's political leadership an opportunity to engage directly with one of the country's fastest growing and most politically significant communities just months before voters head to the ballot box. So, what do these grand spectacles really tell us? The images may suggest overwhelming public adulation for Indian Prime Minister, stadiums packed with cheering crowds, foreign leaders sharing the stage, applauding his speeches and embracing him before thousands, but political optics are often carefully curated. These events may have been as much about the domestic political interests of Australia and New Zealand as they were about celebrations of Narendra Modi or strengthening ties with India. If that is the case, then the biggest beneficiary of Modi's global popularity may not have been India alone, but also political leaders seeking to connect with an increasingly influential Indian diaspora ahead of crucial elections. And this brings to us a larger reality of international politics. We often celebrate the photographs, the handshakes, the hugs, the public displays of camaraderie, and assume they reflect deep diplomatic bonds. But diplomacy is rarely driven by emotion. More often than not, it is driven by political calculations and national interests. Consider what happened after the Pahalgam terror attack. While both Australia and New Zealand condemned the attack and expressed solidarity with India, neither publicly named Pakistan in their official responses. Yet, when electoral considerations and diaspora outreach came into the picture, their leaders were more than willing to share the stage with Narendra Modi before thousands of Indian origin attendees. Perhaps that is the clearest reminder that in international relations, symbolism has its place, but national interest usually comes first. Between nations, there are no permanent friendships or permanent hostilities, there are only permanent interests. And sometimes, even the grandest public spectacle are less about diplomacy and more about politics. That's all for this report. Till I see you next time with another topic in hand. Thanks for watching.